Hello, Seb Aurelios from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Inside the Force. Carabas. Gotta go, Hera's here.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Hello, everyone. Dave Cottingham here. Thank you. Hey, thank you. Welcome to Inside the Force. My name is David Cottingham. I am one of your hosts. My co-host here is Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
And we are coming to you from the podcast stage here at Star Wars Celebration. And with us on the stage, you may know him from Attack of the Show, bringing back Film Threat, his own podcast, Podcrash, Chris Gore.
Hey, thanks for having me, you guys. David and Casey, thank you very much.
No problem, man. Thanks so much for coming.
Cool.
No problem. We know how much you love Star Wars, so I want you on here to talk about the killer stuff that we saw today.
Yeah, there's a lot to discuss.
There is.
So much to discuss.
Dissecting, yes. Indeed.
So what we normally do on the show, if you don't know us, we'll run down all kinds of news and reviews. We watch everything from all the movies, all the TV shows. We're really into the novels and the comics. So we talk about all that kind of stuff. And then we obviously dive into more real topics, which we'll get into a couple of these on this show today. So first off, though, we're just going to dive right in. And then, we'll get some Q&As maybe later today. But the big thing is, before we get into what came out today, I want to go back a day to what we're here for, really, is 40 years of Star Wars.
Yeah.
For those of you that were able to watch, either stream it or see it here at Celebration in one of the rooms. We got in at the
behind the scenes stage. Anybody here get to go see it live or on one of the streaming stages? Those guys did.
So 40 years. So surprise guests were there. Mainly George Lucas.
Yeah.
Came on stage. Of course, with everybody else. I wanted to throw out something somewhat deep right off the bat. And I'm going to look to you first, Chris. Because it's been 40 years and we've been into this thing and enjoying all these years, and because of the revitalization with Disney buying Star Wars, I want to know how much truly has Star Wars changed our culture?
Well, I mean, it's brought us all together, right? Like we're all here because of our love of Star Wars. Generations. What I love most when I walk around Celebration is seeing families. When you see like families with with their kids with the strollers, they're walking around and they love the idea of showing their kids Star Wars for the first time. I think that's the huge impact it's had, is that we pass on Star Wars to members of our family. I mean, I have two kids that I was fortunate enough to pass Star Wars on to, and they're grown up now and off doing their own thing, and I hope they pass on Star Wars to their own kids. So I think that's a big part of it. It's it's a cultural milestone that I think will never be replicated, because I can't think of anything else that has had that large of an impact. I mean, try to think of it. As much as I love Star Trek, it hasn't had as much of an impact as I believe that Star Wars has.
Perfect.
Very well said. Case?
Definitely echo a lot of that. But in particular, my wife and I are expecting a child. He's a boy. So I'm very much so looking at this at a different perspective of eventually bringing my son to this kind of event.
Sure, it's just a boy. What if it's twins? Well, I'm curious. Let me ask you. So how are you going to show your son Star Wars? And are you going to do machete order? Are you going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9?
Geez, I know it's a debated thing. We talked about this on the way up here, actually. I know,
how are you going to show your son Star Wars?
Oh boy. Well, if anybody here listens to our show, we talked about this a little bit. I go chronological. I go 1 through 7 all the way through.
Everybody's shaking their heads out there.
I disagree.
We can get out of here. We can just get out of here.
Take a vote. Who would
don't
like
move.
to see
Please stay.
Casey show his son Machete orders Star Wars? Raise your hand.
No, for Pete's sakes.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, see, it's about half.
It's okay. I mean,
It's nearly half. And some people, they're too sad to raise their hands. They don't want to humiliate you. But I'm happy to do that. So what I'm saying is, I think Machete order is the way to go.
from a certain point of view, that would be correct. But from my point of view, I'm correct. However, to each his own.
However you want to do that
That's
with
okay.
your son, I think makes sense.
I'm curious. Now, I've always been curious of to see a new up and coming Star Wars fan. I just almost it was like a sociological experiment. Want to see how they experience it chronologically, and if they get a different influence from it, seeing it chronologically for the first time.
You can only do it once, so
I know,
make sure
so
you do it right.
Right.
I shall test my child.
Yeah,
immensely.
and I have daughters, and the older one who is 7 is kind of she's almost fighting against it because she knows how much I love it. My office in my house is just littered with Star Wars stuff everywhere. So she's kind of fighting it, I think, just as hey, my daddy likes it, I'm not going to like it. But my youngest, who is almost 3, loves it. Almost every day I come home, she says, Daddy, let's watch Star Wars, and it's only Return of the Jedi, because she loves Jabba the Hutt. She loves Boba Fett.
And she can name all this. She can actually
names
name
all
that
of
stuff.
them. She names Salacious and Bib Fortuna, right? So it's crazy. I think she's the one that I'm. She's the one.
She's the one.
She's the chosen one. So, but I don't know yet I don't know yet which way I'm going to go, because she's starting to watch Rebels a little bit. So she's into the cartoon part of it. So she'll probably learn a lot more on that side, a little bit of Leia and the rebellion and all that stuff. So it's probably leaning more towards the Machete way, but it's debatable
Go
yet.
Machete.
So I'll speak first. I was completely thrilled to see George here. I've been to, this is my 6th celebration actually coming as a fan. I was here camping out back in 2010 when Jon Stewart interviewed Lucas on stage. We were in that. So it was weird, I remember the first year after Disney bought him, he showed up at that.
He showed up before that one as
the
well.
Rebels panel, right? Or,
Clone Wars.
Clone Wars panel. And surprised, no one was expecting him.
Awesome.
So I'm glad he's still a part of it in a sense. Were you happy to see George here yesterday?
Yeah, I was happy to see George. I thought it was great, like being on stage and talking about the 40 years he's been doing Star Wars.
Well, he had the same haircut.
It's just for 12-year-olds.
That was the big takeaway is that George is like,
they hate when I say this, then, and I shouldn't say it now, but it's Star Wars is for 12-year-olds.
That's what he said, right?
He did
say that.
He did.
It's for 12-year-olds.
He did say
Or
that.
your inner 12-year-old.
Warwick Davis tried to kind of. You mean the inner 12-year-olds, right? Not
Right,
just
yeah.
children.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
But of course,
But people forget at the time that Star Wars came out, the world sucked.
right.
And by meaning it sucked means kind of like now. Because the world this was like post-Vietnam, post-Nixon and Watergate, a horrible world. Happy movies were Taxi Driver. Okay, so the context in which Star Wars was different than every movie that was released at the time, because the 70s was a dark time of filmmaking. It was serious movies that were kind of frightening commentary on our culture. Godfather, Godfather 2. I mean, look at the movies that were released around the time of Star Wars. They were not very optimistic. I mean, there were little and then the blockbuster was just coming to light. Like Jaws had come out 1 year previous. There were films like Logan's Run, a personal favorite of mine. But Logan's Run is not exactly an optimistic view of the future. So Star Wars came out and it was different than everything that had come out previous. It really was, trying to get back to this swashbuckling romantic, which I think is kind of missing from the recent Star Wars. As much as I love The Force Awakens and I love Rogue One, what I miss most from Star Wars is romance. Because people forget that the original Star Wars is about a kid, a farmer, a 22-year-old farmer on Tatooine who saw a holographic image of a girl and was so entranced, he said, "Who is she? She's beautiful." He was so captivated by the gaze, right? They talk about the cinematic gaze. He fell in love with this woman by a picture of her and said, "I want to save her," right? And I feel like romance is kind of missing from Star Wars and the reason. But, we're going to see a lot more movies. I'm sure romance will return. But the original Star Wars was a kid, and then we found out it was a sister, so that kind of screws that up. But originally, it was about he fell in love with a beautiful woman, and that was all of his motivation, was to do this thing to impress a chick, which is a very 70s kind of thing to do. So... anyways.
That's kind of a now thing to do.
Maybe a now thing to do, but whatever. I was just sort of like, at least in the movies then, I mean, not so progressive sociologically speaking, but, the Star Wars movies are different now, and I appreciate that they're pushing the boundaries in terms of, like, we have a female-led Star Wars trilogy, right? Rey. Mm-hmm. It's all about Rey. Can I say one thing about that poster? Mm-hmm. There's a really interesting thing about that poster. You notice the lightsaber starts out blue and ends up red?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Right,
Discuss.
Right.
What does that mean? I'm going to throw that little...
We're getting there.
I'm going to throw that discussion... I'm going to throw a discussion grenade in the audience. Nice. Let that bomb.
Nice. On the 40th, still, one last thing before that, we close on that, is very, very happy to see Harrison make his first appearance here, of course, which obviously leads into the tribute that they did for Carrie. Now, obviously, they put something out, I think, right when it happened back in December, but this was very, very touching, and you saw a lot of stuff that you didn't see before. So if you haven't seen it, they've posted it on their YouTube channel. What's your fondest memories, really? I know it's A New Hope, probably, but what do you guys miss most about Carrie?
What I miss most? I mean, what I will miss most is like further live action stories, obviously, with just the further adventures of Princess Leia, General Leia, that kind of stuff, progressing, if they did any more with her, that kind of stuff. Although I very much so am expecting more stories in books and novels and comic books, that kind of stuff. So there will always be that legacy there to carry that on, but of course there will be that live action thing missing, which unfortunately we'll never get.
I think just people forget that at the time there weren't a lot of female action heroes, right? I think one of the greatest female action heroes was 1979, created in 1979 by Sigourney Weaver, Ripley in Alien, the first Alien. And what people forget about Princess Leia in the first Star Wars is the guys were morons. They were idiots, and she was the one that knew what the hell needed to happen. She was the badass who grabbed the gun and was like, "What are you guys doing? You have no clue what you're freaking doing." So she was way ahead of those dudes. So I miss that like spirit. So and I don't know. I think that people don't. You should not underestimate the impact that I believe that her character has had when you look at all the strong female role models in Star Wars, but she created that. She started it, and if you saw that 40th anniversary panel, you see how important she was with regard to just writing. And if you look, there's actually an image online where, I forget where it is. You can find it on Twitter, but it's Carrie Fisher actually doing notes on Empire Strikes Back, and you see a page from the script, and she had like crossed stuff out, and in pencil had rewritten some of the dialogue, and it was 1,000,000 times better, and was the dialogue that ended up in the movie. So she didn't just have an impact in terms of like the way her character was created. She had an impact on the behind the scenes as well. So Carrie Fisher had a huge contribution to the Star Wars universe. So I think that will be missed. And I think that, I don't know if this is public or maybe I just know this because I know things I shouldn't, but I know that they're bumping scenes that they shot for Episode 8 into Episode 9 of Carrie Fisher, so that her character will carry through. She'll be in all 3 of the 7, 8, 9. There was some article released, and we did an article on our website about that. Yeah, they
there are like leftover scenes, extra stuff that will go into 9. So we'll definitely, because Bob Iger even said that he's not going to cut anything of Carrie Fisher's performance in 8. So anything extra that just didn't make it, they're going to put it in 9. Yeah, which that's fantastic. That's incredible.
I'm going to miss, to be honest, I'm going to miss her at Celebration. Yeah. Because just being a fan and not coming to Celebration before, you never really saw a lot of her personality. You'd see a little bit in interviews, and you hear other actors and entertainers talk about her. But I remember coming here and sitting in her first panel. She was here, either Celebration 5, I think it was. Mm-hmm. I never knew she was that comedic, to be honest, and had so much life and so much personality, and how much she gave. I mean, one of the fondest things I will ever cherish at a Celebration is a picture me and a couple of guys out in the audience had with the Skywalker twins. We got a picture with Hamill and with Carrie, and I will always treasure that. That's so I miss her here for sure.
She was as unscripted, in life as she was in the films. Just her contribution can't be underestimated. And if you have HBO Go, anyone have HBO Go or HBO? Like, if you have access to HBO, you should watch that her one-woman stage show, Wishful Drinking. Which is awesome. You will learn things about Carrie Fisher that will explain a lot of why she was such a free spirit. So that is worth seeing. We've seen Wishful Drinking? Who wishes they were drinking? Anyways, if you have an opportunity, you should absolutely see that, and you will have even more of an appreciation for Carrie Fisher. She was phenomenal.
And I'm glad you mentioned that she did make a lot of her own additions to the script and changes to the script, because if anybody was in or watched the Last Jedi panel today, Rian Johnson said she even did that for the Last Jedi. She did. Like, she's still doing it. That's incredible.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's segue into the Last Jedi. But before that, like I said, I like to give stuff away, so we're going to do a quick giveaway of some stuff.
We're not going to beat them up. So.
We're not going to beat them up. Not going to beat them up. Just real quick, I wanted to, if anybody's seen these, I've got a couple of elite figures from Disney here.
Yeah.
3PO,
these are great.
And
mint condition.
R2. So let's do 2 of them.
Yeah, so that's the cards Anthony gave out to you guys when you walked in.
A little bit.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And
if you don't have a card, might want to grab one right now.
Does everybody have a card?
No more. Hey, you guys. Yeah.
Cool, okay.
Pick one.
If you don't have a card.
Pick one.
Pick one.
You pick.
Oh, dear.
There you
Okay,
go.
There's that one. Casey, you pick one.
All right.
Okay. Cool.
And whoever I call first, come just pick which one you want here.
It's all good. We grabbed the huge stack.
Number 11?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good job.
Come on down.
Right, you get first pick.
What do you want?
Pick.
R2.
Good choice.
You took the worst one.
And then number...
Fantastic. All right. Number 2. Yeah. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. Woo. Awesome.
Noise.
Congratulations, man. No problem.
Awesome. All right, I got
Oh,
more
there's
stuff.
More.
I got more stuff. So let's get into the Last
Not
Jedi.
just toys.
Last Jedi today. This was by far my number one reason until we found out we were doing the show here, of coming here.
Yeah.
So
we knew we had something to talk about.
But also let's think back. Like when I first saw Star Wars, because I'm old, which is why they call me the Ancient One. I saw it in 1977. It was The Adventures of Luke Skywalker. And we've had 4 Star Wars movies without Luke Skywalker. And I want to see Luke Skywalker. So I was really just happy to see him on stage.
You loved Force Awakens, didn't you?
No. But, no, I mean, I didn't hate it. I wanted some Luke. And this is the thing that really makes me sad about the passing of Carrie Fisher is we will never, and Harrison Ford, Han Solo in the films, we will never see the 3 of them together. That's what I was waiting for. I think that's where, as much as I love J.J. Abrams, I think that I really wanted to see the 3 of them together again. And we will never see that again. And it was so set up when that quivering lightsaber at the end of Force Awakens that should have gone right to Luke's hand. Even Mark Hamill said it at the panel. And what should have happened, I believe, is that a friend of mine, Charlie De Lazarica, agrees with this, that it should have been, Han Solo should have been mortally wounded, not dead, mortally wounded, so that when Luke shows up, saves the day, it would be like, how we doing, kid? Same as always. You know what I mean? Like, that would have been a way better. He didn't have a death scene. Han Solo's death scene was the same as most villains. If you look through the history of iconic death scenes of villains, most villains, the most common cause of death is falling. Seriously.
Got a long shaft.
Watch The Lion King, watch Return of the Jedi. Yeah. Most villains, horrible, Die Hard. Watch, if you look at the Batman, 1989. If you watch movies, leading cause of death for villains is falling. So to see Han Solo fall, I thought sucked ass. But
wow, that's
because I wanted to see the three of them reunite, and we will never get that. So maybe it'll be in a flashback. Who knows? Anything can happen digitally, as Rogue One taught us. But so that sort of was, I found it have I derailed the panel a little bit?
Not at all.
No.
I'm sorry for that.
Actually, reminded me, like, there actually are now 2 Star Wars movies where Luke Skywalker appears at the very end and doesn't say anything.
Wait, what?
Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, well,
So it's
oh
a
my God.
technicality. There's 2 of them now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Casey, that's brilliant. You need to tell Mark Hamill this.
Yes.
He would
Mark
love
Hamill should just ADR a little line in both movies.
We know that, like, Luke is going to talk in this because we heard the breathe, just breathe.
Yeah.
That was awesome. So
we did.
Yeah.
So trailer overall, just was it everything you expected? Case?
I knew it was going to be a teaser, so yes, it is everything I expected in a teaser. It definitely teased me into wanting more, so yes.
I loved it for a couple reasons. One, it looked like a movie. I feel like Force Awakens looked like a television film. Force Awakens did one thing incredibly well, which is difficult, which is it introduced characters I care about that aren't named Han, Luke, and Leia. BB-8 is awesome. Finn is awesome. Rey, amazing. Poe Dameron, fantastic. I love the new characters. The story, the setting, but the new characters introduced to the Star Wars world that I love. What I think that Last Jedi looks like is a movie. Visually speaking, vistas that are incredible. There's that one shot of those like speeders that are going across this vista that has like red smoke coming out or whatever. Like that was something I've never seen before. And what I want Star Wars to do more than anything is take me to a place I have never seen before and throw me into it and just act like it's nothing. Right? Like that was what was so cool about Star Wars. I don't think we need to go to another planet of the trees and grass because we have seen that in too many Star Wars movies. This is another planet where there's trees and grass, and show me something otherworldly. And I think that like that's what it appears as if they're going to do. And everyone that I've heard who's spoken about it, Adam Driver, he's been quoted talking about it, and Mark Hamill. The script is incredible. Mark Hamill was talking about the script. He said there's so many quotable lines, like great lines in it. So I can't wait. Like,
and we do know the name of that planet, actually, that those ships are on.
What's the name of the planet? I'm dying to find out.
It's so awesome.
It's brand new. It's called Crate.
Crate, but not Crate Dragon. Yeah. It's spelled differently.
It's called Crate. And those are resistance ships that are actually flying.
I don't know. We still don't know what that napalm looking stuff. I don't know what that is, but
they're like the snow speeders of that planet.
Yeah, exactly. Crop dusting. And there's AT-ATs.
Actually,
question. What's up?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Wait, what?
The rumor is that they're like newly designed AT-ATs. That's AT-ATs, walkers. To do something to it.
Yeah.
Something totally cool that we don't even know about.
I was, of course, I was thrilled with the trailer.
Yep.
But I gotta say, I was hoping for some Luke action, a little bit, because and the only reason is because
they're saving it.
They are saving it. I get it, and this is the first glimpse. But we are 7 months away, right? We're 7 months away from the release of this thing, and we got a year and a month. So 13 months before Force Awakens is when we got the first teaser for that, which was a short 66 seconds, I think.
88
right?
seconds.
88 seconds.
Yeah.
So, and then we got the big one when Celebration came 2 years ago. So I was expecting a little bit longer, even though this was 2 minutes, but I was expecting a little bit longer, and I was expecting a little bit more of Luke, because I think, again, that's what everybody has been screaming about for years, especially since Force Awakens came out.
Well, as someone who read the movie novelization of Star Wars back in 1977, and on the opening page, it said, "From the Journal of the Wills, The Adventures of Luke Skywalker."
Right.
I want to see more of that.
What if we actually...
Yeah.
I'll talk about it.
So what are the Journal of the Wills? Maybe one day we'll find out. Although it is kind of referenced in Rogue One. So, wait, this gentleman has a question.
Absolutely.
You should repeat the question for the purposes of people on the podcast who can't hear what you're about to say. So, we're not going to be able to hear you right now, but I feel like you should speak.
Wasn't it called Journal of the Wills, The Adventures of
Star Killer?
Well, originally, until
yes.
on the first day of shooting when
George decided to change it to the
Skywalker, because Starkiller sounded more like a bad guy's name. So, and I do know there was a panel that Mark Hamill did. He was in London, and I don't know, you can watch it on YouTube. He talks about how they had to reshoot a scene from Star Wars. You know, the scene where he walks into the detention center and rescues Carrie Fisher, and he says, "I'm Luke Starkiller. I'm here to rescue you." They had to reshoot that because they changed the name, which would be awesome to see that footage someday of him saying, I'm Luke Starkiller. I'm here to rescue you." So, but like George didn't feel right about the name, and so he changed it. So, but yeah, that's good, except it didn't make it into the movie novelization. Anyways.
Thank you.
So
good question.
Yeah. So anyway, that I am by no means disappointed. Obviously,
right.
This is
it's a teaser. It's a teaser,
it's
right?
Exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is.
It's a long teaser,
and it's what it was, and I got everything out of it that I wanted to.
Charles, you don't.
What did you guys think of the passion of Johnson speaking about the film? Because to me, that was light years ahead of Abrams talking about it 2 years ago.
Well, Abrams, I think, is a great George Lucas cover band, but I'm not what? I think that he did a okay job, but Rian Johnson is legit. I feel like that guy is legit. He's like one of you sitting right here or us here. Like, he is legit. I think that JJ is he had a hard job to do, just so you know. I feel like he was making sort of a sequel, but it was also setting up other stuff. And it was like, so it's like, whatever. I feel like Force Awakens was the bridge. Force Awakens was the movie to get us back with the people who were disenfranchised with the prequels. You know, some people didn't like the prequels. Another discussion for another time. If I could Maz Kanata that shit. But I'm just saying, I feel like Rian Johnson is legit fan. Like, it wants to bring it back to the things that we care about, you know? So, awesome. Yeah, no, just the way he spoke, he was very humble too, which is great.
Yeah, his passion was definitely evident in the panel, but also just obviously when he came to visit everybody waiting in line overnight. He said was he really there for 4 hours? I mean, I fell asleep obviously because it was really late, but they kind of talked about him being there for about 4 hours. Yeah, so we got signed badges, we got selfies with him and everything. Like,
he seems like a regular dude. Like, you would run into him at like Costco. Yeah. And like he would just be buying stuff.
Little guy.
He's a little guy.
Just a regular, normal dude.
Yes.
But he just comes from a background of small films, so he's a very intimate director. So he just knows how to work with those actors, those characters, and those story nuances to bring that out. So his passion will show, because I know he's a Star Wars fan. So that passion mixed with his skill is going to just make for a wonderful movie.
And I feel like that. I feel like it's in a little bit of an extension of honestly Gareth Edwards, because I think he was the same type of fan boy that really got his dream job, which was make a Star Wars movie, and he did it justice. And I think he did well, a little bit more beyond what the saga films are in a sense, which is very to the point, like you were saying with the Skywalker stories, but. With Rogue One breaking out and kind of being on its own and standing alone in a sense, a standalone movie, but his passion I think is what really drove that, and I think you're going to see that with The Last Jedi
absolutely.
as well, because this is again I think what we're seeing is, and we've talked about this a lot of the show. What you're seeing is, and I think a lot of people are okay with me saying this, but. What would the prequels would have been if George would have given other filmmakers a chance to make those movies versus him making those movies? The story's there, but maybe someone else could have done it, like just like Irvin Kershner did.
Wait, are we going to talk about the prequels now?
No, we're not. So I just want to throw it out there that I think that it shows out there that there's filmmakers out there that hold this dear as much as fans do.
Well, looking back, I really think that episode 1 is not as bad as we all thought when we all saw it. I mean,
No, he should have done
I'm only
episode
talking
1,
about
so.
the old people here, of which I'm one. I'm saying that it's pure unadulterated George. It's George Lucas going I wanted to make Flash Gordon. I couldn't do that. I'm going to make this adventure. It's going to be fun. It's going to be goofy. It's going to have a little dark stuff underneath, but it's, and then 2 and 3 is his reaction to how fans reacted to Star Wars and his sort of trying to placate the fans, which is kind of disheartening. But I actually like episode 1 looking back, and there's a documentary out there. You might have heard of The People versus George Lucas, right?
Yeah.
You guys heard of that documentary? So a documentary that's an answer to that. I'm also in this documentary.
in it,
It's
right?
it's called The Prequels Strike Back, and it's really worth seeing because it's made by this kid who saw episode 1 when he was like a single-digit age child and then loved all the prequels, then became a teenager, and then he read the internet. And to his dismay, he discovered that people disliked the Star Wars prequels, but it's from his point of view. It's a different generational look at the prequels, and I mean, it convinced me that there's more going on in those films, and if you look at what's happening in our current political landscape, I think that the prequels may have been something of a warning of how a democracy can get really effed up if we don't pay attention to things. Maybe this is something I shouldn't say in Florida. I'm not sure. We'll soon find out.
We'll get the poll plugged if it's too much, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
But no.
But I mean, look, politics is a big part of Star Wars because George is a big fan of history. I mean,
Well, the prequels were very political.
very
Yeah.
political.
Yeah.
And one of the things I talk about in the prequel Strike Back is just how, I feel like he was trying to get young people interested in being involved in politics. Because there's this thread throughout the prequels about politics. And he's very much a student, very much like George loves history. And that's he wove a lot of that into the Star Wars films. So very interesting stuff. As the crowd gets very silent and afraid to express their views.
We've talked very serious topics now.
That's okay. I'll
Hey,
be
it's
out
Star Wars.
there.
Be happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tar and feather me or whatever
No,
they
no,
do
no.
in the Star Wars universe.
Worse.
But so the trailer, but real quick, the panel itself. I don't want to throw out the word disappointed, but disappointed in that there was a lot more cast there.
It's tough.
Are you guys saying you're disappointed in the trailer?
No.
I loved it.
no.
I loved it. It's
No.
a teaser trailer.
No. I'm
Not the
talking
te-
about
not the trailer.
Let's get us pumped.
I'm talking about. I wanted to see Isaac's and
Adam Driver.
more on
Benicio.
stage. I remember because last year at Rogue One, they had everybody. Krennic came out with the Death Troopers.
Yeah.
Walking out on stage. I mean, that's the show I wanted to see a little bit more of. Again.
Well, you'll
the
see
trailer
it
was
in
there.
7 months. Be patient, young Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
look,
I
it's a
know.
teaser trailer. There's going to be a full trailer. Then there's going to be another trailer. The one thing I do like about Disney's marketing is that they have not ruined the story.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you look at most modern films, before we walk into a movie theater and pay our money for a ticket and sit down, we know everything. You know pretty much the third act, what's going on, except for the conclusion, which you can mostly guess. So I think with this, I hope that Disney sticks with that. I hope they don't tell us anything. I think Adam Driver even said Adam Driver said he hoped they did no trailers for episode 8, which pretty much, do we really need a trailer? Couldn't they just say, like, here's when the movie opens, here's the logo. I have only one disappointment. I wish the logo were cooler. I think the Last Jedi and Force Awakens logos have sucked, because if you look at the older logos, like the Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Jedi, Return of the Jedi, those logos were badass because the Star Wars words were teeny tiny and the logo of the movie was cool. And so I feel like we need to get back to that, like rather than like Star Wars, the brand is larger and they're trying to sell you a brand rather than like actually sell you a film instead of a brand. You know what I mean? Like, in this world of branding,
Oh my gosh.
let's get away from that. Let's tell a story that moves us.
Aren't you a brand?
A little bit. I'm a brand. No, I hate that stuff. If I am, I never intended to be.
Right.
I'm more machine than man.
That's good.
Anyways.
No, yes, trailer, yes, awesome. But
There's
I wanted
questions
more
in the
people here.
audience.
There is. What? Yes.
Do you think out of the trailer that there is a possibility of Poe piloting the Millennium Falcon with it looking like his X-Wing is blown up?
Blown up again. This is twice now. His X-Wing's been blown up. Guy can't keep the ship.
Do I think Poe will pilot the Falcon? I don't think he will pilot the Falcon.
No.
He's a fighter pilot.
Sorry.
The Falcon is actually a freighter. It's not actually a military.
Ray can handle the
It's
Falcon.
a Corellian
It's-
freighter.
yeah,
It's a
exactly.
YTU
Just so you know.
something.
So he'll just jump in another X-wing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he's about as good a pilot as James T. Kirk is in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies, blowing up the Enterprise. Lame. Oh, sorry. That was Star Trek. We're talking Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Stars.
Are we dissecting the trailer? Do you want to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dissect
I think,
away.
I think we obviously open with Rey. That's the thing too, was the rumors seem to be very true that Episode 8 literally starts days, if not a week after Episode 7 ends, where we are already starting Rey, learning about the Force and training more. So there's not as much of a gap as there are. I think the shortest gap is maybe a year in the Star Wars, which is Empire to Jedi.
Yeah.
So this is even shorter than that. So I don't even know how much of a crawl actually you need, to be honest, to catch up. But this is, but no, I think we see Rey. As Chris said, you hear Luke's voice finally, talking about breathing, and we see Rey training with the lightsaber. So I think the first visuals of that were stunning. I mean, people were cheering so loud you couldn't even hear Luke's first word in the room. But
And the sound was so bad, I actually thought he said leave.
Me too.
Just leave.
Me
several
too.
people did.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm
I
not
was
the
the
only
same.
one. I'm not crazy.
No, I thought the same
because
thing.
I thought it was like leave.
I was like, that makes sense.
The sound was modulated terrible in that room because it was such a big room.
Yeah.
So you were there.
Yeah.
And you saw it was bad sound. So I thought he just said leave, just leave, which is kind of interesting. It's the refusal of the call, which is a
exactly.
Joseph Campbell thing, but it's breathe. When you watch it on YouTube, it's breathe. So
is
what?
breathe.
It is. So I stand corrected.
No, we didn't. Like
That's
I said,
cool
we
that
didn't
you
hear
thought
it.
the
Exact same thing. So I was like, that makes sense. Yeah, maybe he doesn't want to leave the island.
I'm curious what the
But,
internet
yeah.
thinks, because the internet poops on everything. So does the internet poop on this trailer? Like, it's kind of a lame trailer.
No, I don't think
What
so.
does Reddit
Probably
think?
not.
We hate it. It's pretty lame. 0 likes. God.
Type that out. It's weird.
Yeah.
0 lines.
No, yeah. So what is the internet reaction? Because I've only been here with humans.
Well, it's gotten over 5 million views on YouTube already. Probably
I
more.
mean, that was
we
within
checked
the
that
first hour.
Yeah, we checked that.
That's
hours
low
ago.
compared to Beauty and the Beast, the live action piece of crap remake.
Oh.
But whatever. What? What?
Oh, no,
Did anyone see that Beauty and the Beast live action remake? Why did they do that? That was awful.
It struck some hard
I
chords
hope
with
I
me.
never see that again. But so the reaction on the internet is,
It seems to be
Very
pretty
positive right now.
overwhelmingly
Very
positive.
positive.
Yeah.
oh, that's good.
Very, very positive.
Is it time for another giveaway?
We will in a second. Yes.
All right, I'm just
In a
asking.
second.
I'm
Because I want to
excited.
make sure we get through this trailer. Because
Yeah.
once we get through all that, it's really just the biggest thing to me was seeing what looks to be the Journal of the Wills that
It
we talked about,
could
possibly the book,
Yes.
the Jedi.
Finally.
Yes.
Yeah, so the first temple,
Yeah.
which is where this possibly is, that Luke went to look for. This is it.
Octo. Yeah, I was mentioning to Dave earlier, I feel like, unless I'm mistaken, if someone knows, correct me, but this might be the first canon appearance, live action-wise, of the Jedi symbol.
Of the Jedi symbol, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Which was awesome to see. We always saw it in
Yes.
like card games or video games or whatever, comic books maybe. I can't even think of that, but yeah, like movie wise, no, we've never seen that before.
Fantastic,
So
yeah.
it very well could be the Journal of the Wills, I think, which would be incredible.
Yeah. So then, of course, again, like a teaser, you're just seeing shots. Yes. Oh.
Poster.
Okay, so what do you think about
Yeah.
the poster?
yes,
Is the question from the audience.
it was actually kind of it's.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Wait,
Yeah.
did you just walk in?
we talked a little bit about.
We
just
talked a little bit at the
bit about it.
beginning.
but overall, yeah, love the poster. We all, everybody
I think it's
there
the
got
best
copies.
poster of a Star Wars movie since Return of the Jedi. I think it's badass because it's there's so much you can read into it.
Yeah.
You have Kylo Ren and his uncle
Yeah.
on the poster, Uncle Luke, and then we have Rey. We have no idea what her origins are. You have a lightsaber that goes from light to the dark side, which I think is symbolic. And we had Daisy Ridley in the panel say, what did she say at that one point? That like,
That it won't turn out as you think it would, or something like that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
You might get shocked at how her story turns out.
people are not going to end up where you think they're going to
Yeah.
end up.
Yep.
So people start a certain way, don't necessarily end the way you think. And so I think the poster really reflected that.
Yeah, definitely. The actors have been saying through interviews, Adam Driver especially, that this movie basically turns on its head just the idea that we have of Star Wars. Like very much like how Empire escalated the story. This movie's going to escalate the story in different ways that we don't even know about. And with the poster, it definitely shows that. Like it's all like this theme of red, especially. It looks almost like a horror poster in a way. Just like everybody's red and like very grim-looking faces of Luke, and of course Kylo would look scary, but like Luke Skywalker looks scary. And that's just, and his face takes up most of the poster. Rey's in that the most iconic hero pose ever, one that Luke himself was in.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's definitely a innovative poster for Star Wars. It's awesome.
I love it.
Me too. I think it's the best Star Wars poster since Jedi.
All right, so you got Luke.
Could you speak louder? Actually, you have an awesome voice, dude. You should do radio. Cool.
My mother said I paid for radio. Luke is in red. We spoke to Daisy earlier. She said that Rey did kill Luke in episode 8.
What?
So who are you? Who do you work for?
Do you think that there's anything in the trailer that is like 7, or like Rogue One, I should say, that won't be in the movie at all?
Oh wow, that is a trend.
Let's hope not.
That's a
because
trend, isn't it?
I do know that they're doing, but this is normal for movies. Just so you know, this isn't like a movie's in trouble. They're doing reshoots. They do reshoots for every movie. Every great movie you've ever seen did a couple pickups or a couple shots here or a couple shots there to fix some things or to bridge something. All of the Star Wars movies that have ever been made, including the first one and Empire Strikes Back, they did last-minute shooting to kind of bridge things or fix things. So I don't know that they'll do as large a retool as they did with Rogue One. I would love to see the original cut of Rogue One because the rumor was that the person that you saw at the end with Darth Vader and whatnot, like passing the plans, and here it is. That was supposed to be Jyn Erso getting murdered and slaughtered by Darth Vader as she passed the plans onto the people onto Princess Leia's ship. So, which I think that the Disney execs thought was pretty dark, right? Like just have your lead character just slaughtered and murdered by Darth Vader. But I think at some point, just make a Darth Vader movie, right? Like he's the most interesting character in the Star Wars universe to me. I'm not sure that his origin story was well handled. In my opinion, I don't think it was well handled at all. But let's just make a Darth Vader movie and have badass moments like that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I mean, it's too early to tell. But like, there's going to be reshoots.
Yeah, but those teaser shots like that, I think most of them will make it. And if you think about the first teaser from Awakens, those shots are pretty much in there.
Most of those shots are all in there.
The only similarity is the voiceover. The voiceover from the first teaser. There was the Snoke stuff.
Second part.
The Ma saying the Force, it's calling to you, let it in.
Yes.
That was kind of different in the movie. Luke's VO voiceover in this might be different in the movie as well, so that could very well be
Does anybody have any Snoke theories? I'm just curious if anyone has any Snoke theory. No, I'm kidding, because everyone has a Snoke theory.
Question.
Yeah.
That was never
absolutely correct.
You're right.
Oh.
They did the shot of Daisy and Finn's reaction, you hear it off screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in that shot, he's wearing his hood. He didn't have his mask.
That's really smart. That's good. I didn't think.
So it's definitely possible. I mean, I think any of those shots, Rey's training, they probably shot days and days of it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I hope, because just like Rogue One, there were so many beautiful shots in that first teaser of Rogue One that didn't make it. But like this teaser, probably one of my favorite shots, and it was maybe it's not. I mean, it might be unique in this. I don't know. The extremely wide shot of Rey just swinging her lightsaber on the mountain, Luke far off looking at her, like that looks awesome. Yes. It's an iconic shot. That is an iconic shot already, and it's just a teaser.
Absolutely. Yes.
Back. Right there. Is that your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and survives. Yes.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I think apparently we've been promised she has a much bigger role in Episode 8. What that happens to be, I think me and Casey were talking before the show actually that at least the talk is that Finn actually goes. Semi-spoilers, hopefully.
It's a rumor. It's a rumor. Well,
Finn somewhat confirmed. Goes undercover back into a stormtrooper outfit, and there's a lot more interactions with Phasma on that side. So
a stormtrooper first, or like an officer, but that was just a rumor until the Last Jedi panel where they showed a behind-the-scenes pic of John Boyega on set with Gwendolyn Christie, Captain Phasma, which seemed to be an Imperial location, which kind of confirms that rumor that he goes undercover either as an Imperial officer or what. When I first saw that rumor, though, I always thought it was kind of far-fetched because wouldn't somebody recognize him? He doesn't keep his helmet on all the time, but you would think they've known him since birth. They might see his face and know what he looks like.
Got blown up on Starkiller Base.
True,
right?
That's cool. His wallpaper is already.
Oh yeah, yeah. Who else had? Yeah.
How did you? That's
my phone is destroyed, so I don't have it yet. But I'll get it as soon as I get a new phone.
So doing it on
real
the
quick as we get down. Let me do another.
We'll come back. Yeah.
Come back. I want to keep talking.
Oh gosh, keep talking. Oh, well, what's your question? Yes.
Have you guys ever thought about what happened to Daniel Craig's stormtrooper after
What happened to Daniel Craig at his stormtrooper? He might have kept walking. I don't know. That's the thing. Like, how long does that mind trick last on a human? Like, is there a time where he just starts walking? He's like, where am I? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, he probably takes the suit off.
Yeah.
He's probably alive because he probably got off world.
Oh wow, dude! That's awesome.
No, that's good. Yeah, I don't think there has been talk about how long mind tricks last, right?
That's a good idea.
Because episode 4, right, when Obi-Wan does it too, it's like
Yeah.
when they go away. I always thought, like, what are the other guys saying? They're saying, why did you just let them go?
Actually, now that you can point that out, those stormtroopers in A New Hope, if you guys follow the books at all, the new book that was kind of released earlier this week, or last week, I guess, it was codenamed Operation Blue Milk, but it's later now revealed to be...
Right. 40 stories?
40 stories, 40 years thing, a Star Wars A Certain Point of View. One of those stories, it's a short story, is about those stormtroopers that were mind tricked, about not finding the droids they're looking for. So maybe we'll know from their point of view how that actually works. So we can probably answer your question after we read that story
Yes.
and apply it to James Bond. So who knows?
So before we get our last couple topics here, let's give away some more stuff here. I think we have one more gentleman walk in. I got some graphic novels here of canon stuff.
Yeah, we got Vader Down. Anybody have read the Vader Down yet? This is probably
Awesome book.
my favorite storyline. If you want to see like what a Vader movie should look like, this is it.
That's the book.
This
right
is
there.
absolutely it. Lando by Charles Soule, who's actually here at the celebration,
Awesome book.
and then the Han Solo trade. All three fantastic.
Fantastic. So
All right.
I'm gonna do. We'll just do 3 again and
Yep.
and
All right. Go
get one.
ahead and read it off.
Chris, you got to grab one.
I'll grab one.
Oh wow, this
First.
is nice. Lap drums.
16. 16.
16 here? Did they leave? Oh. Well.
3.
Yeah.
There you go.
Noise.
There you go. Take your pick, man. Han,
Oh, Vader
or
down.
Lando.
Good choice.
Good. Oh,
Good choice.
There
Oh.
you go, right there.
Film threat
Thank you.
T-shirt.
Oh my God, that's badass. Yeah.
Wearing a film
Wait,
threat.
you tweeted a picture of that, right? Like, I swear I've seen you. I think so. Yes, I think you did. Yes. That's
Second winner, number 12. Number 12. Yes.
There
Awesome.
you go.
And we'll do.
And then I got one more.
We'll do one more.
One more after she picks. Which one?
It's tough. It's very tough. Oh, that's a quick choice. Wow. Yes. very good.
17. Are they
Oh.
gone?
It's tough. That's one of the guys who went to the fantasy fight stage.
9?
Number 9. Number 9.
Going once?
Beatles
No?
fans.
9?
Wow.
20?
We grabbed a huge stack, so maybe.
20.
Yay!
All right.
Lando. Probably my second favorite story.
To be
right?
honest, this is my favorite of the 3.
His favorite.
Charles Soule's my favorite
second
writer.
favorite.
He is awesome. That book is phenomenal.
Goes into a lot about Lobot.
That
Yeah,
takes
thank
place.
you, man.
I'll just give you a hint. A little preview. That takes no spoilers. That takes place on a very unique ship, part of canon that you will be blown away about, man. It's awesome. All right, one more huge giveaway at the. I'm going to leave it for the end.
Huge.
But, as we wind down here, first off, thank you so much for being
Yeah.
here and listening to us. Thank you for being here too.
Thanks for
sharing
letting
your
me
knowledge.
talk too much.
No.
I'm sorry I talk too much. I apologize.
No, I would just want to talk briefly, really, well, I guess more Q&As if you got it, but I wanted to talk just briefly about the celebration and what we've got left here to do. Tomorrow really is a huge, I guess the next big morning is the Rebels preview of Season 4.
Yeah.
Everybody watch Rebels? Everybody watching
Please.
Rebels?
Oh,
Yes.
great.
Okay, awesome. Are you watching
Fantastic
Rebels?
show.
No.
No.
Also, if you want to see good Vader
But
stuff.
I will binge
Yes.
watch it because it's all going to be on Netflix.
It is going to be. Yeah. There's definitely some writer stuff that and some signatures I know Casey and I are trying to get to,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Celebration. How's Celebration going right now?
This is great so far, man. This is definitely my favorite one. This is my third one. Maybe only been to 6. My third one. This is my favorite one so far, if that means anything. out
It's
of
the
3.
best of the 3.
Best.
How many have you been to?
All but one.
All but the first one?
Yeah. Well, no, I went to all but I think I missed. It was 2010 here.
5.
in Orlando.
Celebration 5.
But I was in 1999
Six.
in Denver. Anyone was
12.
at Denver? Where
Oh, yeah.
basically first of all, they set it up in tents in this parking lot of the Aviation Museum, and it rained the entire weekend, and it was as if Denver was cosplaying as Dagobah because people were covered in mud. It was disgusting. And but Anthony Daniels walked the line and entertained people, and we were all filled with optimism because we hadn't seen episode 1 yet, and it was amazing. So that was fantastic. So I had a great time, and I went to the ones in Indiana in 2002 and 2005. So I've been to all but one Star Wars celebration.
That is a lot of fun when the celebrities actually come out and do stuff. Like for Celebration 5,
Yeah.
even back here in 2010, we camped out for the George Lucas panel. Clone War, some of the actors from Clone Wars, James Arnold Taylor, D. Bradley Baker, and Tom Kane brought us pizza.
And Dave Filoni, I'm not a like Rebels. I think is just I have no issue with Rebels. I just think it skews too young for me. Like it's just it's more for kids, or as George Lucas would say,
It's for 12-year-olds.
Specifically 12-year-olds.
But Dave Filoni is one of my favorite people.
Yes.
When you see him on a panel, that guy rocks. I mean, he is so much a fan. He's so excited and happy to be where he is. And I would never recognize him if he didn't have a cowboy hat on. But I love that guy. So Dave Filoni, in fact, I was at a screening of Shin Godzilla in L.A., and he flew down from Lucasfilm from San Francisco just to see this premiere of Shin Godzilla in Los Angeles. We had a whole conversation about nerd stuff. So that guy is a legit nerd. And the fact that he would see who here has seen Shin Godzilla? No one. But okay, great, right? Okay, it's awesome if you're a Godzilla fan. So Dave Filoni, I love, and I watch all the panels that he's on YouTube, even though I don't care about the TV show he works on. So, which sounds like a horrible thing to say in this room. I guess I'll be leaving now. Bye, guys.
Season 2 is filled with Vader.
Yep.
Just to let you know, you would actually love it.
All right.
I do want to bring up something real quick, just from the other day about Filoni. We went to the Filoni Hidalgo panel that they have every time they have a celebration, where they bring back old drawings and sketches and even
story ideas,
and even animatics of shows that didn't make it to air. So anyway, they put out this image of Rex,
Captain Rex,
basically all but confirms that he is the bearded soldier in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
At the end, when
it's a very small character, very
Han taps the shoulder of the stormtrooper, runs around the corner, and there's a bearded gentleman that actually takes the place of the scout trooper there.
Yeah.
So it all confirmed. Casey put the tweet out.
Yeah.
And people were rocking us. It is not canon. But Pablo, actually, I found a thread that he was saying, look, we didn't say it wasn't canon.
Exactly.
So
if Pablo doesn't say it's not.
Yeah. So
he doesn't say it's not canon. I'm taking it as canon.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much canon. So that's Captain Rex.
Yeah.
In Return of the Jedi now, because he has a name, but it's a Legends name now. It's based from card game or something like that. So, but anyway, that was a cool, fun reaction we had on Twitter yesterday. That was pretty good. Anything else? Any questions? Any more questions? Anything else you guys want to mention?
Questions or comments?
Oh.
Yes.
Yep.
You mean the books that aren't canon anymore?
That is correct.
Okay, that's great.
You're absolutely correct.
Just so you know, I love Star Wars. I only care about shit that happens in the movies. Because if it happened in the movies, it happened. If it happened in the Droids animated series, I don't care. So... and because I've read some of those novels. One of my favorites, though, actually, is Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
Yeah,
which
one, right?
actually was supposed to be the sequel to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Lucas wanted to continue doing it, even if it was a bomb. He was going to make a low-budget, almost indie film-style Star Wars movie with no money, and he hired Alan Dean Foster to write a screenplay, which was then turned into The Splinter of the Mind's Eye, and that was going to be the sequel to Star Wars, and Han Solo's not in it. There is no like sister, brother Luke. It's basically Luke and Leia on a mission. Darth Vader gets his arm chopped off. It's badass, and if you can find, I'm sure you can find it here for $2. Splinter of the Mind's Eye. You should read that book. That was originally intended to be the sequel to Star Wars if Star Wars was not a financial success.
Right.
It was, and of course things are different. But that is what George Lucas foresaw, because he basically got paid. I think it was like he gave away most of his money, so George Lucas was paid about $10,000 to make Star Wars. but he gave away his directing fee so he could keep the sequel rights to Star Wars and the merchandising rights. And no director, no filmmaker, no creative person in the world will ever get a deal like that again, ever, unless you're, I don't know, someone, who owns their own IP. It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult to do that stuff now. But really, you should read Splinter of the Mind's Eye. It's very fascinating.
But those are good stories, though.
Yeah.
Dark Empire, I think.
But
is what
Dark
you're-
Empire,
is
yes.
one of them, yeah.
I agree with you. They're great. I just wish they were,
For
but
Ray.
that would
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah.
Also, kind of a dark side history to his family. So, if you think about it, Dad,
Yeah.
That's very good.
2 points to that. Actually,
domestic
really
abuse
quick about the
near a
cave.
volcano, kind of illegal in the Empire.
But about the cave, honestly, when the first time I saw that teaser, when Ray slaps her hand down and tilts up, I thought I saw a cave-like thing behind her. Probably not, but it could be. Yeah. Yeah.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
Well, she was already tempted, right, by
She was tempted.
Kylo. So
Well, also along with that, because I was thinking the same thing, because in the Legends in the EU, Han Solo's daughter Jaina does go to the dark side for a little bit before his son does. And Jaina goes to the dark side, comes back, then Jason Solo goes to the dark side, stays dark side for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Very true.
they very well could do that.
No, let's go over here. He
Yeah,
had an
you-
ask one.
For someone who hasn't read any of the novels or anything, it's just been like a movie thing,
Sure.
getting into this,
You're my kind of guy.
where can I start?
Perfect.
So where can you start?
Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
If you haven't read
Start with that. I'm serious. And then
It's not canon.
the Timothy Zahn novels. The Timothy Zahn novels, I think, are
Yep.
Yes.
to me. I remember reading those in the '90s on paper, which just for people, books are like the internet, but on really thin slices of wood. So you can almost find these places. I recommend the Timothy Zahn series of books,
Sure.
which is basically kind of episodes 7, 8, and 9 if they had picked up directly after Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Fantastic stuff. So highly recommend this series of books and Splinter of the Mind's Eye. You will love it, and most of the other stuff is shit. But
this is the
canon.
is the canon Thrawn story now.
Yeah.
It just came out this Tuesday. This is what we're giving away right now
Yeah.
as we close.
Really,
This is a brand new.
Don't touch too much.
From Tuesday. It's hard to get this thing now.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, you want to talk about canons? Where to start? I mean, you might weigh in, but I would say, honestly, it's hard because I think it depends on what era you want to get into. If you want to continue on from the original trilogy, the Aftermath series that's out there now from
Yeah.
Chuck Wendig, fantastic series. I'm in book 2 right now.
Me too.
He's in 2, which is Life Debt. So it's about a year. It's the year after Return of the Jedi that kind of sums up fighting off the Empire before obviously the First Order comes about. And as you continue on, Bloodline is really good because that's a whole thing about Leia, General Leia, 5 years before Force Awakens happens. And then if you want to go a little Episode 4, Catalyst, which is right before Rogue One, is phenomenal. Tarkin, James Luceno is by far one of the best writers besides Timothy Zahn to me.
Yeah.
So to me, those are where you want to start because they're more character based. You're getting. It's not just a story about what's happening in the universe at that point. They're really focusing on Leia. They're really focusing on Tarkin. They're really focusing on Krennic and Urso. Thrawn, obviously, this is his whole story now. So, but if you listen to us regularly, we're always talking about what we're into. And I'm a big proponent. I'll tell you this: I'm not a reader. I do not read these things. I do audiobooks.
I do. Oh my God, I do audiobooks as well. I'm very well listened.
Star Wars audiobook, I'm telling you, I have a 25...
Do they have sound effects?
Sound effects. I have 25-minute commute to work every day, right? So I just pop in an audiobook. It is like watching Star Wars with your eyes closed.
But don't do that while you're driving.
Don't do that while you're driving. But it's a produced... great sound effects, great voice acting. I highly recommend audiobooks. and I'm gonna hit the audiobook on this as soon as I get done with the Aftermath.
It's probably why you're giving away the paper
I-
book.
That's exactly it.
We'll get
Yeah.
to that because I know
Yeah,
we're,
who needs a
we're,
paper
we're
book? I
going
got the
out.
audio
We're
book.
gonna
we're over
end up.
time. But so really quick, I was actually going to say Bloodline and Catalyst because two books that, if you want to get into the books a little easier, the books that tie into the movies the most, perhaps right now, Bloodline ties into the movies a lot. It's a lot about Leia, General Leia. Well, she's still a senator at the time. About 14 years after Episode 6, 14, 15 years.
Yes.
Fantastic. A lot about the legacy of Vader, a lot about Leia. Awesome. Ties in a little bit into Force Awakens. Catalyst ties a lot into Rogue One. So as a companion piece, I would start with those for canon-wise. Most of the books out there are fantastic already. Legends-wise, honestly, I would stick with the Thrawn trilogy. This is canon again, the non-canon Thrawn trilogy, because that's what started me and hundreds, thousands of others into the books. Like, I was a huge Star Wars fan as a kid, and then my buddy Adam was really into the books, and then I just kept seeing the books on his shelf, and I kept seeing Thrawn trilogy, and the covers look good. This guy's face was like, as a middle schooler, like, that looks very interesting. So I just picked up Heir to the Jedi, which is the first book in that, and I couldn't stop reading it. It was amazing.
It's like a Star Wars movie.
Absolutely.
That's how it feels. The tone of it.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
So we'll do the last giveaway, and then we'll
Last
wrap
giveaway,
it up.
then we'll close it out. You want to have the honors?
Sure. 10.
Nice.
There you go.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Good job, man.
All right, congratulations.
Can't get that, no
Cool.
problem. Thank
Awesome.
you. Guys, we fully and wholeheartedly thank you for being here and listening to us ramble about Star Wars and Star Wars Celebration. We are having the greatest time this weekend. We're still here. We're going to be here all through the weekend. So thank you for checking us out. Thanks, Chris, for hanging out with us
Thanks
for the hour.
Thanks for letting me ruin your podcast.
You crashed our podcast, right?
I did. I crashed you guys.
That's what you do.
Yeah, cool.
You pod
exactly.
crash, right? So,
yeah.
Again, thank you guys so much, very much. Come find us. Come talk to us. We're at InsideTheForce.com. Everything else, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, we're all over the internet. So check us out. We're a weekly podcast. Usually about every Friday we're going to we put a show out. So, Casey?
Guys, this has been an honor and a privilege to have you here. Dream come true to meet and to have people enjoy our show with us. Thank you so much for making the celebration that much better for us.
Yes. Thank you. May the Force be with you.